the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. The history of the tablets translated in the following pages is strange and beyond belief of modern scientists. Their antiquity is stupendous, dating back some 36,000 years BC. The writer is Thoth, an Atlantean priest king who founded a colony in ancient Egypt after the sinking of the mother country. He was the builder of the Great Pyramid of Giza, erroneously attributed to Cheops. In it, he incorporated his knowledge of the ancient wisdom and also secreted records and instruments of ancient Atlantis. For some 16,000 years, he ruled the ancient race of Egypt from approximately 52,000 BC to 36,000 BC. At that time, the ancient barbarous race among which he and his followers had settled had been raised to a high degree of civilization. Thoth was an immortal, that is, he had conquered death, passing only when he willed, and even then not through death. His vast wisdom made him ruler over the various Atlantean colonies, including the ones in South and Central America. And now that I found out that Thoth is, also Quetzalcoatl, and finding out the stuff about Quetzalcoatl and what I believe Quetzalcoatl built Aslan, which is the rock wall, which Aslan also means Atlantis. God, it just makes sense why a Council for National Policy member would have a 3.5-ton granite stone with hieroglyphs on it in his house that came from the ancient rock wall in Rockwall, Texas. Huh. Yeah. Man, oh man. Now you see why I'm onto all this stuff now, don't you? My goodness, folks. Never thought those two things would intersect. Boy, I was wrong about that. When it came time for him to leave Egypt, he erected the Great Pyramid over the entrance to the great halls of Amenti. He placed in it his records and appointed guards for his secrets among the highest of his people. In later times, the descendants of these guards became the pyramid priests, by which Thoth was deified as the god of wisdom. The recorder by those in the age of darkness, which followed in his passing, in legend, the halls of Amenti became the underworld, the halls of the gods, where the soul passed after the death for judgment. During later ages, the ego of Thoth passed into the bodies of men in the manner described in the tablets. As such, he incarnated 3 times in his last being, known as Hermes, the thrice born, Hermes Trismegistus. Yeah. In this incarnation, he left the writings known to modern occultists as the Emerald Tablets, a later and far lesser exposition of the ancient mysteries. The tablets translated in this work are 10 which were left in the Great Pyramid in the custody of the pyramid priests. The 10 are divided into 13 parts for the sake of convenience. The last 2 are so great and far-reaching in their import that at present it is forbidden to release them to the world at large. Really? Now, I didn't know that. So the last 2 tablets, let me get this straight. The last 2 Emerald Tablets of Thoth are so great and far-reaching in their import that at present it is forbidden to release them to the world at large? I'd like to have you release them to me then, please. Let me decide if I can handle it or not. Let me decide if, it's too big for me to wrap my mind around. Please challenge me. Blow my mind. Let me see what you got. Go ahead and give me those last 2 tablets. Let me decide for myself if you're going to blow my mind. I think not. Go ahead and let me have it. However, in those contained herein are secrets which will prove of inestimable value to the serious student. They should be read not once, but 100 times. For only thus can the true meaning be revealed. A casual reading will give glimpses of beauty, but more intensive study will open avenues of wisdom to the seeker. But now, a word to how these mighty secrets came to be revealed to modern man after being hidden so long. Some 1300 years BC, Egypt, the ancient Kem, was in turmoil, and many delegations of priests were sent to other parts of the world. Among these were some of the pyramid priests, who carried with them the emerald tablets as a talisman by which they could exercise authority over the less advanced priestcraft of races descended from other Atlantean colonies. The tablets were understood from legend to give the bearer authority from Thoth. The particular group of priests bearing the tablets immigrated to South America, where they found a flourishing race, the Mayans, who remembered much of the ancient wisdom. Among these, the priests settled and remained. In the 10th century, the Mayas had thoroughly settled the Yucatan, and the tablets were placed beneath the altar of one of the great temples of the sun god. After the conquest of the Mayans by the Spaniards, the cities were abandoned and the treasures of the temples were forgotten. It should be understood that the Great Pyramid of Egypt has been and is still a temple of initiation into the mysteries. Jesus, Solomon, Apollonius, and others were initiated here. The writer, who has a connection with the Great White Lodge, also works through the pyramid priesthood, was instructed to recover and return to the Great Pyramid the ancient tablets. This, after adventures which need not be detailed here, was accomplished. Before returning them, he was given permission to translate and retain a copy of the wisdom engraved on the tablets. This was done in 1925, and only now has permission been given for it to be, in part, published. It is expected that many will scoff, yet the true student will read between the lines and gain wisdom. If the light is in you, that's a very powerful statement. If the light is in you, the light which is engraved in these tablets will respond to you. Wow, I like the sound of that. Now, a word as to the material aspect of the tablets. They consist of 12 tablets of emerald green, formed from a substance created through alchemical transmutation. They are imperishable, resistant to all elements and substances, and in effect, the atomic and cellular structure is fixed, no change ever taking place. In this respect, they violate the material law of ionization. Upon them are engraved characters in the ancient Atlantean language, characters which respond to attuned thought waves, releasing the associated mental vibration in the mind of the reader. The tablets are fastened together with hoops of golden-colored alloy suspended from a rod of the same material. The wisdom contained therein is the foundation of the ancient mysteries. And for the one who reads with open eyes and open mind, his wisdom shall be increased 100-fold. Read, believe or not, but read. And the vibration found therein will awaken a response in your soul. In the following pages, I will reveal some of the mysteries which has as yet only been touched upon lightly either by myself or by other teachers or the students of truth. Man's search for understanding of the laws which regulate his life has been unending, yet always just beyond the veil which shields the higher planes from the material man's vision. The truth has exited, ready to be assimilated by those who enlarge their vision by turning inward or outward, not outward, in their search. In the silence of material senses lies the key to the unveiling of wisdom. He who talks does not know. He who knows does not talk. The highest knowledge is unutterable, for it exists as an entity in lanes which transcend all material words or symbols. All symbols are but keys to doors leading to truths, and many times the door is not opened because the key seems so great that the things which are beyond it are not visible. If we can understand that all keys, all material symbols are manifestations and are but extensions of a great law and truth, we will begin to develop the vision which will enable us to penetrate beyond the veil. All things in all universes move according to law, and the law which regulates the movement of the planets is no more immutable than the law which regulates the material expressions of man. One of the greatest of all cosmic laws is that which is responsible for the formation of man as a material being. The great aim of the mystery schools of all ages has been to reveal the workings of the law which connect man and the material and the spiritual. The connecting link between the material man and the spiritual man is the intellectual man, for the mind partakes of both the material and immaterial qualities. The aspirant for higher knowledge must develop the intellectual side of his nature and so strengthen his will that it is able to concentrate all powers of his being on and in the plane he desires. The great search for light, life, and love only begins on the material plane. Carried to its ultimate, its final goal is complete oneness with the universal consciousness. The foundation in the material is the first step. Then comes the higher goal of spiritual attainment. In the following pages, I will give an interpretation of the Emerald Tablets and their secret, hidden, esoteric meanings. Concealed in the words of Thoth are many meanings that do not appear on the surface. Light of knowledge brought to bear upon the tablets will open many new fields of thought. Read and be wise, but only if the light of your own consciousness awakens the deep-seated understanding, which is an inherent quality of the soul. Heavy stuff there. Yowza. So that's a preface of the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. We'll get into tablet number 1 tomorrow on the show. And looking forward to getting into this. Ties in with what we read with William Bramley, Gods of Eden, Lost Book of Enki, now Thoth, and especially, moving towards the Rockwall information. This is key. I plan on reading as many of these types of things on the air for you as I can possibly get my hands on. And it should be interesting. Want to thank everybody for tuning in and being here with us for the show tonight. TheGlobalReality.com is our website. Please donate and support us, folks. We've got the Chipping banner. We've got to meet the goal by Saturday to pay the bills. And we got a separate one there up now for the bills. Donate and support if you can, folks. My name is John. Here we go. Tablet number. Number 1, the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. I, Thoth, the Atlantean master of mysteries, keeper of records, mighty king magician living from a generation to generation, being about to pass into the halls of Amenti, set down for the guidance of those that are to come after these records of the mighty wisdom of the great Atlantis. In the great city of Kior on the island of Undal, in a time far past, I began this incarnation. Not as the little men of the present age did, the mighty ones of Atlantis live and die, but rather from aeon to aeon did they renew their life in the halls of Amenti, where river of life flows eternally onward. 100 times 10 have I descended the dark way that led into light. As many times as I have ascended from the darkness into the light, my strength and power has been renewed. Now for a time I descend, and the men of Chem is alchemy in ancient Egypt, and the men of Chem shall know me no more. But in a time yet unborn, I will rise again, mighty and potent, requiring an accounting of those left behind me. Then beware, O men of alchemy, if ye have falsely betrayed my teaching, for I shall cast ye down from your high estate into the darkness of caves from whence ye came. Betray not my secrets to the men of the north or the men of the south, lest my curse fall upon you. Remember and heed my words, for surely I will return again and require of thee that which you guard. I, even from beyond time and from beyond death, I will return, rewarding or punishing ye as you have requited your trust. You sound familiar here? Jesus is coming back. He's going to come back. And if you ain't got your shit together, he's going to kill you. Sound familiar? Alien gods going around setting themselves up, telling everybody that they're, the all-powerful, getting them to worship them. Great were my people in the ancient days, great beyond the conception of the little people now around me. It means humans by little people. Knowing the wisdom of old, seeking far within the heart of infinity, knowledge that belonged to earth's youth. Wise were we with the wisdom of the children of light who dwelt among us. Strong were we with the power drawn from the eternal fire. In all of these, greatest among the children of men was my father, thought me, keeper of the great temple, link between the children of light who dwelt within the temple and the races of men who inhabited the 10 islands. Mouthpiece after the three of the dweller of Unal, speaking to the kings with a voice that must be obeyed. Grew I there from childhood into manhood, being taught by my father the elder mysteries, until in time there grew within the fire of wisdom, until it burst into a consuming flame. Not desired I but the attainment of wisdom, until on a great day the command came from the dweller of the temple that I be brought before him. Few there were among the children of men who had looked upon that mighty face and lived. For not as the sons of men are the children of light when they are not incarnate in a physical body. So when they're not in a physical body, they're just light beings. Sounds like Pleiadians. By the way, we were referencing that movie Knowing a couple of times in the broadcast. That's what comes down and is taking the kids to see life on another planet, Pleiadians. When they start showing up, it's really not good news for your planet. I've heard people saying they've been seeing Pleiadians, in their dreams of like, that's not good news. These guys only show up when a planet's about to be completely fucking destroyed. Chosen was I from the sons of men, taught by the dwellers, so that his purposes might be fulfilled. Purposes yet unborn in the womb of time. Long ages I dwelt in the temple, learning ever and yet ever more wisdom, until I too approached the light emitted from the great fire. Taught me, he did, the path to Amente, the underworld where the great king sits upon his throne of might. Deep I bowed in homage before the lords of life and the lords of death, receiving as my gift the key of life. Free was I from the halls of Amenti, bound not by death to the circle of life. Far to the stars I journeyed until space and time became as naught. So he's gaining immortality here. Transcending the death of the physical body. That's the real secret of the secret societies, Freemasonry and the rest of it. Is how to gain immortality by being conscious of your of how you reincarnate through the learning of these teachings. That's really what it's all about. And you know, the Anunnaki talked about how they had, you know, they did not give man the gift of long life, but they could. And we have that in us today. It's, you know, all you have to do is turn on a chromosome and boom, you've got immortality. Interesting. There was an article I didn't cover here tonight, synchronistically, yet again. It's just been synchronicity after synchronicity the past couple of weeks with everything. Article from the Daily Mail says, "Who wants to live forever? Computer models predict that if humans became immortal, it might actually be bad news." A lot of this has been in the news lately, and it seems that they're starting to figure this out. I think they're starting to figure out this key to immortality thing that the ancients knew. Because again, as I've stated many times, we now have a context for what these, you know, the advanced technologies that these ancient texts were talking about. 50 years ago, we didn't, you know, 100 years ago, we didn't. Then, having drunk deep into the cup of wisdom, I looked into the hearts of men, and there I found greater mysteries, and was glad. For only in the search for truth could my soul be stilled and the flame within be quenched. I'm going to get a tattoo of that. Yeah, that's pretty much my credo right there. Wow. For only in the search for truth could my soul be stilled and the flame within be quenched. Down through the ages I lived, seeing those around me taste of the cup of death and return again in the light of life. Gradually from the kingdoms of Atlantis passed waves of consciousness that had been one with me, only to be replaced by a spawn of a lower star. That's heavy. That's heavy. Let me read. Oh, man. Gradually from the kingdom of Atlantis passed waves of consciousness that had been one with me, only to be replaced by the spawn of a lower star. This is an interesting statement. That's like, you know, one collective consciousness and everyone in a community or you know, a planet or a world or whatever having the same consciousness, and then that going away and being replaced with something of much lower quality. That's incredible. In obedience to the law, the word of the master grew into flower. Downward into the darkness turned the thoughts of the Atlanteans until at last, in this wrath arose from his great Agwanti, the dweller. This word has no English equivalent. It means a state of detachment. Speaking the word, calling the power. Deep in the earth's heart, the sons of Amenti heard and are hearing and directing the changing of the flower of fire that burns eternally, changing and shifting using the logos until that great fire changed its direction. Now, what are they talking about here? Are they talking, you know, deep in the heart of the earth? They're talking about the changing the core, the direction of the core, the way the core of the earth spins. That's interesting. Over the world then broke the great waters, drowning and sinking, changing earth's balance until only the temple of light was left. Standing on the great mountain of Endal, still rising out of the water, some there were who were living, saved from the rush of the fountains. Called to me then the master, saying, "Gather ye my people, take them by the arts ye have learned of far across the waters, until you reach the land of the hairy barbarians, dwelling in caves of the desert. Follow there the plan that you know of." I gathered my people and entered the great ship of the master. Upward we rose into the morning. Dark beneath us lay the temple. Suddenly over it rose the waters. Vanished from earth until the time appointed was the great temple. Fast we fled toward the sun of the morning, until beneath us lay the land of the children of Chem. Raging, they came with cudgels and spears. lifted in anger, seeking to slay and utterly destroy the sons of Atlantis. Well, you got to watch that movie, 10,000 BC. You hadn't seen that. It ties right in with that. Pretty interesting. I don't want to ruin it for you if you haven't seen it, but then I raised my staff and directed a ray of vibration, striking them in their tracks as fragments of the stone of the mountain. I love this, because I mean, what do you cleanse have to say about this now? Here's more translations from ancient texts. These not done by Zechariah Sitchin, and here we have the same stuff that's verbatim that's in Sumerian text. Break free of your religious priest class programming and understand that this stuff is what they don't want you to know about. If you understand this stuff, then religion has no place. So that's why there's so many disinfo clowns and haters and all that stuff out there. I then raised my staff and directed a ray of vibration, striking them still in their tracks as fragments of stone of the mountain. Then I spoke to them in words calm and peaceful, telling them of the might of Atlantis, saying we were children of the sun and its messengers. I cowed them by my display of magic science until at my feet they groveled and I released them. Long dwelt we in the land of Kim, long and yet long again, until obeying the commands of the Master, who while sleeping yet lives eternally, I sent from me the sons of Atlantis, sent them in many directions, that from the womb of time wisdom they might rise again in her children. For a long time I dwelt in the land of Kim, doing great works by the wisdom within me. Upward I grew into the light of knowledge. The children of Kim were watered by the rains of my wisdom. Blasted I then a path to Amente so that I might retain my powers, living from age to age as a son of Atlantis, keeping the wisdom, preserving the records. Great grew the sons of Kim, conquering the people around them, growing slowly upwards in soul force. Growing slowly upwards in soul force. That's interesting. As if their souls and their energy gets higher. The vibration higher, the more that they conquer, and it gets higher and higher. Now for a time I go from among them into the dark halls of Amenti, deep into the halls of the earth, before the lands of the powers, face to face once again with the dweller. That's funny. We have one of the new demigod songs we have called Earth Dweller. And we always call it the Dweller for short. And I've seen that twice here, the Dweller. Raise I high over the entrance a doorway, a gateway leading down to Amenti. Few there would be with courage to dare enter it, and few pass the portal to dark Amenti. I raised over the passage a mighty pyramid. Using the power that overcomes Earth's force, gravity, deep and yet deeper, I placed a force house or a chamber, and I carved from it a circular passage reaching almost to the great summit. In the apex, I set the crystal, sending the ray into the time-space, drawing the force from out of the ether, concentrating upon the gateway of Amenti. Other chambers I built and left vacant to all, seeming yet hidden within them are the keys to Amenti. Oh, really? Remember what I talked about last week? I got to find that video again in just a second here. Great Pyramid, a strange sacred door at the top of the half in the Queen's chamber. I'm going to drop this in the chat room. If you get time, watch this. Watch this video. I believe that what you see in that green picture there in that still video, when you watch it, that's exactly what Toth's talking about here. And if you watch that video, we'll show you exactly what he just mentioned there, which is a map on keys of the way to enter Amenti. Well, that's it right there. There's videographic evidence of it. They sent a camera in 1992. Nobody knew what the fuck it was. But that's what it was. Unbelievable stuff. It's right in front of us, and we're not being allowed to see it. That's how you enter Amenti. It's all built into the pyramids. They're gonna destroy those motherfuckers before it's over with. They're not going to let us have that information. I guarantee you the elite are going to destroy the Great Pyramids. They've already hinted about it. Remember Transformers 2? They're not going to let us have the knowledge in there, folks. We've got to get our hands on this stuff before it's too late. Other chambers I built and left vacant to all, seeming yet hidden within them, are the keys to Amenti. That's it right there. He who in courage would dare the dark realms, let him be purified first by long fasting. Lie in the sarcophagus of stone in my chamber. Then I will reveal to him the great mysteries. Soon he shall follow me to where I shall meet him. Even in the darkness of earth, I shall meet him. I, Thoth, Lord of wisdom, meet him and hold him and dwell with him always. Builded I the great pyramid, patterned after the pyramid of earth's force, burning eternally so that it too might remain through the ages. In it I builded my knowledge of magic science, so that I might be here when again I return from Amenti. Yes, while I sleep in the halls of Amenti, my soul will incarnate, roaming free, and will dwell among me in men in this form or another, Hermes thrice born. Emissary on earth, I am of the dweller, fulfilling his commands so many might be lifted. Now I return to the halls of Amenti, leaving behind me some of my wisdom. Preserve ye and keep ye the command of the dweller. Lift ever upwards your eyes toward the light. Surely in time ye are one with the master. Surely by right you are one with the master. Surely by right yet are one with the all. Now I depart from you. Know my commandments, keep them and be them, and I will be with you, helping and guiding you into the light. Now before me opens the portal. I go down into the darkness of night. So that's the end of tablet 1 there. Tablet number 2 of the Emerald Tablets of Thoth here. Deep in Earth's heart lie the halls of Amenti. Far neath the islands of sunken Atlantis, halls of the dead and halls of the living, bathed in fire of the infinite all. Far in a past time, lost in the space-time, the children of light looked down on the world, seeing the children of men in their bondage, bound by the force that came from beyond. Knew they that only by freedom from bondage could man ever rise from the earth to the sun. Down they descended and created bodies, taking the semblance of men as their own. The masters of everything said after their forming, we are they who were formed from the space dust, partaking of life from the infinite all, living in the world as children of men, like and yet unlike the children of men. Then for a dwelling place, far neath the earth's crust, blasted great spaces by their power, spaces apart from the children of men, and surrounded them by forces and power, and shielded them from harm, they, the halls of the dead. Built it underground in the earth. Side by side then placed they other spaces, filled them with life and with light from above. They then builded the halls of Amenti, that they might eventually dwell there, living with life to eternity's end. 32 were there of their children, sons of light who had come among men, seeking to be free from the bondage of darkness, those who were bounded by the force from beyond. Deep in the halls of life grew a flower, flaming, expanding, driving backward towards the night. placed in the center a ray of great potence, life-giving, light-giving, filling with power all who came near it. Placed they around it thrones, 32, places for each of the children of the night, placed so that they were bathed in the radiance, filled with the life from the eternal light. There, time after time, they placed their first created bodies, so that they might be filled with the spirit of life. 100 years out of each 1,000 must the life-giving light flame forth on their bodies, quickening, awakening the spirit of life. There in the circle from aeon to aeon sit the great masters, living a life not known among men. There in the halls of life they lie sleeping. Free flows their soul through the bodies of men. Time after time, while their bodies lie sleeping, incarnate they into the bodies of men, teaching and guiding onward and upward, out of the darkness into the light. There in the hall of life, filled with their wisdom, know not to the races of man, living forever neath the cold fire of life, sit the children of light. Times there are when they awaken, and they come from the depths to the lights to be among men. Infinite they among the finite men find. He who by progress has grown from the darkness, lifted himself from the night into light, free he is made of the halls of Amenti, free of the flower of light and of light. Guided he then by wisdom and knowledge, passes from men to the master of life. It's almost like a song. It's a rhythmic almost. Guided by he by wisdom and knowledge, passes from men to the master of life. It's almost got, it's got a rhythmic quality to it. That's interesting. You put this stuff to music, does the frequencies of singing this, open the fucking portal to the halls of Amenti? I don't know. Could be. There he may dwell as one with the masters, free from the bonds of the darkness of light. Seated within the flower of radiance sit 7 lords from the space-times above us, helping and guiding through infinite wisdom the pathway through time of the children of men. Mighty and strange, they veiled with their power, silent, all-knowing, drawing the life force. Different, yet one with the children of men, and different, yet one with the children of light. Custodians and watchers of the force of man's bondage, ready to lose when the light has been reached. First and most mighty sits the veiled presence, Lord of lords, the infinite nine. Over the other from each, the lords of the cycles. 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, each with his mission, each with his powers, guiding, directing the destiny of man. There they sit, mighty and potent, free of all time and space. Not of this world they are, yet akin to it. Elder brothers they of the children of men, judging and weighing. They with their wisdom watching of the progress of light among men. There before them I was led by the dweller, watched him blend with one from above. Then from he came forth a voice, saying, Great art thou, Toth, among children of men, free henceforth of the halls of Amenti, master of life among children of men. Taste not of death except as thou wilt. Well, that sounds like Crowley. Taste not of death except as thou will it. Drink thou of life to eternity's end. Henceforth forever is life. Thine is for the taking. Henceforth is death at the call of thy hand. Dwell here or leave here when thou desireth. Free is Amenti to the Son of Man. Take thou up life in what form thou desireth. Child of the light that has grown among men, choose thou thy work, for all must labor. Never be free from the pathway of light. One step thou hast gained on the long pathway upward, infinite now is the mountain of light. Each step thou taketh but heightens the mountain. All of thy progress but lengthens the goal. Approach ye ever the infinite wisdom. Ever before thee recedes the goal. Free are ye made now of the halls of Amenti. to walk hand in hand with the lords of the world, one in one purpose, working together to bring light to the children of men. Then from his throne came one of the masters, taking my hand and leading me onward through the halls of the deep hidden land. He led me through the halls of Amenti, showing me the mysteries that are known not to man. Through the dark passage downward he led me into the hall where sit the dark death. Vast as space lay the great hall before me, walled by darkness, yet filled with light. Before me arose a great throne of darkness. Veiled on it sat a figure of the night. Darker than darkness sat the figure, dark with a darkness not of the night. Before it then paused the master, speaking the word that brings about life, saying, O master of darkness, guide of the way from life unto life, before thee I bring a son of the morning. Touch him not ever with the power of night. Call not his flame to the darkness of night. Know him and see him, one of our brothers, lifted from darkness into the light. Release thou his flame from its bondage. Free let it flame through the darkness of night. Raised then the hand of the figure. Forth came a flame that grew clear and bright, and rolled back swiftly the curtain of darkness, and unveiled the hall from the darkness of night. Then grew in the great space before me flame after flame from the veil of the night. Uncounted millions leaped before me, some flaming forth as flowers of fire. Others there were there that shed a dim radiance, flowing but faintly from out of the light. Some there were that faded swiftly, others that grew from a small spark of light, each surrounded by its dim veil of darkness, yet flaming with light that could never be quenched. Coming and going like fireflies in the springtime, filled they the space with light and life. This is a bunch of souls, like the Hall of Souls. Then spoke a voice mighty and solemn, saying, These are lights that are souls among men. Yep, I was right. Growing and fading, existing forever, changing yet living through death into life. When they have bloomed into flower, reached the zenith of growth in their life, swiftly then said I send my veil of darkness, shrouding and changing to new forms of life. Steadily upward throughout the ages, growing and expanding into yet another flame, lighting the darkness with yet greater power, quenched yet unquenched by the veil of the night. So grows the soul of man ever upward, quenched yet unquenched by the darkness of night. I, death, come, and yet I remain not, for life eternal exists in the all. Only an obstacle I am in the pathway, quick to be conquered by the infinite light. Awaken, O flame that burns ever inward, flame forth and conquer the veil of night. Then in the midst of the flames and the darkness grew there one that drove forth the night, flaming, expanding even brighter, until at last was nothing but light. Then spoke my guide, the voice of the master. See your own soul as it grows in the light, free now forever from the Lord of the night. Forward he led me through many great spaces filled with the mysteries of the children of light, mysteries that man may never know, yet of he too is of a son of the light. Backward then he led me into the light of the hall of the light. I knelt then before the great masters, lords of all from the cycles above. Spoke he then with words of great power, saying, Thou hast been made free of the halls of Amenti. Choose thou thy work among the children of men. Then spoke I, O great master, let me be a teacher of men, leading them onward and upward until they too are lights among men, freed from the veil of the night that surrounds them, flaming with light that shall shine among men. Then the voice spoke to me, Go as ye will, so it be decreed. Master are ye of your destiny, free to take or reject it at will. Take ye the power, take ye the wisdom, shine as a light among the children of men. Then upward the dweller led me. I dwelt again among the children of men, teaching and showing some of my wisdom. Son of the light, a fire among them. Now again I tread the path downward, seeking the light in the darkness of night. Hold ye and keep ye, preserve my record. Guide it, it shall be to the children of men. So that's the end of tablet number 2. Good stuff. You can definitely see where this is tying into all the work and the stuff we read about from, William Bramley, Gods of Eden, the Custodians, and the Book of Enki with Thoth and Marduk and Nigajita and that whole deal. It's just amazing how these, texts from different times and places, coincide with one another and really lock in and working together. It's just amazing stuff. But we're going to leave it there for tonight. Love to have emails. You can always send an email to me anytime you want. globalrealityshow@gmail.com. That's globalrealityshow@gmail.com. $500 away from meeting our goal to pay the bills by Saturday. Please help us out. theglobalreality.com. We also got to eat, live, and survive. And, every time we pay the bills, man, we get just enough in to pay the bills, but then not enough for anything else left. So, let's get some support in this week. Help us out. My name is Josh Reeves. I love each and every one of you. And we will see you tomorrow for the broadcast. You guys have a great night, great morning, great day. Take care.
Here's one thing you need to do before you start your holiday shopping. Don't spend another dime on Amazon until you watch this first.
Watch this. I can show you how.
Take care.
I was walking down the street. The revolution starts now. Your eyes are burning fear.
Tablet 3, the key of wisdom. I, Thoth the Atlantean, give my wisdom, give my knowledge, give my power. Freely I give to the children of men. Give that they too might have wisdom, to shine through the world from the veil of the night. Wisdom is power, and power is wisdom, one with each other, perfecting the whole. Be thou not proud, O man, in thy wisdom. Discourse with the ignorant as well as with the wise. If one comes to thee full of knowledge, listen and heed, for wisdom is all. Keep thou not silent when evil is spoken for truth. Like the sunlight, it shines above all. He who oversteppeth the law shall be punished, for only through law comes the freedom of men. Cause thou not fear, for fear is a bondage, a fetter that binds the darkness to men. Follow thine heart during thy lifetime. Do more than is commanded of thee. When thou hast gained riches, follow thine heart, for all these are of no avail if thy heart be weary. Diminish thou not the time of following the heart. It is abhorred of the soul. They that are guided go not astray, but they that are lost cannot find a straight path. If you go among men, make for thyself love, the beginning and end of the heart. If one cometh unto thee for counsel, let him speak freely, that the thing for which he hath come to thee may be done. If he hesitates to open his heart to thee, it is because thou, the judge, doeth wrong. Repeat thou not extravagant speech, neither listen to it, for it is the utterance of one not in equilibrium. Speak thou not of it, so that he before thee may know wisdom. Silence is of great profit. An abundance of speech profiteth nothing. Exalt not thine heart above the children of men, lest it be brought lower than the dust. If thou be great among men, be honored for knowledge and gentleness. If thou seekest to know the nature of a friend, ask not his companion, but pass a time alone with him, debate with him, testing his heart by his words and his bearing. That which goeth into the storehouse must come forth, and the things that are thine must be shared with a friend. Thine, or yours. Knowledge is regarded by the fool as ignorance, and the things that are profitable are to him hurtful. He liveth in death, it is therefore his food. That's an interesting statement, as I've talked about many before, them feeding on the negative energy. The wise man lets his heart overflow, but keeps his mouth. O man, listen to the voice of wisdom. Listen to the voice of light. Mysteries there are in the cosmos that unveiled fill the world with their light. Let he who would be free from the bonds of darkness first divine the material from the immaterial, the fire from the earth. For know ye that as earth descends to earth, so also fire ascends into fire and becomes one with the fire. He who knows the fire that is within himself shall ascend unto the eternal fire and dwell in it eternally. Fire, the inner fire, is the most potent force of all, for it overcometh all things and penetrates to all things of the earth. Man supports himself only on that which resists, so earth must resist man, else he exists not. All eyes do not see with the same vision, for to one an object appears of one form and color, and to a different eye of another. So also the infinite fire, changing from color to color, is never the same from day to day. Thus speak I Toth of my wisdom. For man is a fire burning bright through the night, never is quenched in the veil of darkness, never is quenched by the veil of the night. Into men's hearts I looked by my wisdom, found them not free from the bondage of strife, or free from the toils. Thy fire, O my brother, lest it be buried in the shadow of night. Hark ye, O man, and listen to this wisdom. Where do name and form cease? Only in consciousness, invisible and infinite force of radiance bright. The forms that ye create by brightening thy vision and truly effects that follow thy cause. Cause and effect, the, law of attraction. Man is a star bound to a body. That's a profound statement. I know that, what's her name? Alice Bailey gets into that a lot. That's why they're so obsessed with Sirius, Sirius is supposedly the another dimension of reality that the souls can exist in. I mean, Alice Bailey talks about in her book, Initiation, Human and Solar, that once you reach the tip top of the degrees of initiations of Freemasonry on Earth, you can go to the other degrees at which you're only an adept, a beginner. and that takes place on a lodge that is located on Sirius that you can only get to after death. Yeah. Man is a star bound to a body until in the end he is freed through his strife. Only by struggle and toiling, thy utmost shall the star within thee bloom out into a new life. He who knows the commencement of all things, free is his star from the realm of night. Remember, O man, that all which exists is only another form of that which exists not. Parallel universes. Everything that has being is passing into yet another being, and thou thyself art not an exception. Consider the law, for all is law. Seek not that which is not of the law, for such exists only in the illusions of the senses. Wisdom cometh to all her children, even as they cometh unto wisdom. All through the ages the light has been hidden. Awake, O man, and be wise. Deep in the mysteries of life I have traveled, seeking and searching for that which is hidden. List ye, O man, and be wise, far neath the earth's crust, in the halls of Amente. Mysteries I saw that are hidden from men. Oft have I journeyed the deep hidden passage, looked on the light that is life among men. There, neath the flowers of life ever living, I searched the hearts and the secrets of men. Found I that man is but living in darkness. Light of the great fire is hidden within. We're living in a darkness we don't know we're living in, because we haven't been allowed to know how to make our light radiate and shine in the proper way. Before the lords of hidden Amenti, learned I the wisdom I give unto men. Masters are they of the great secret wisdom, brought from the future of infinity's end. 7 are they, the lords of Amenti, overlords, they of the children of morning, sons of the cycles, masters of wisdom. Formed are not they as children of men. 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, 9 are the titles of the masters of men. Far from the future, formless yet forming, came they as teachers for the children of men. Live they forever, yet not of the living, bound not to life, and yet free from death. Rule they forever with infinite wisdom, bound yet not bound to the dark halls of death. Life they have in them, but yet life that is not life. Free from all are the lords of the all. Forth from them came forth the Logos, instruments, they of the power over all. Vast is their countenance, yet hidden in smallness, formed by a forming, known yet unknown. Is that where the known, unknown things comes from fucking Rumsfeld? You've been hitting the sauce, reading the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. Oh, somebody needs to put that in a song. Hitting the sauce, reading the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. 4 is he who loses the power. Lord, he of life to the children of men. Light is his body. Flame is his countenance. Freer of souls to the children of men. 5 is the master, the Lord of all magic. Key to the word that resounds among men. 5 magics. 6 is the Lord of light, the hidden pathway. Path of the souls of the children of men. 7 is he who is the Lord of the vastness, master of space and the key of the times. 8 is he who orders the progress, weighs and balances the journey of men. 9 is the Father, vast he of countenance, forming and changing from out of the formless. Meditate on the symbols I give thee. Keys are they, though hidden from men. Reach ever upward, O soul of the morning. Turn thy thoughts upward to light and to life. Find in the keys of the numbers I bring thee light on the pathway from life unto life. Seek ye with wisdom, turn thy thoughts inward. Close not thy mind to the flower of light. Place in the body a thought-formed picture. Think of the numbers that lead thee to life. Clear is the pathway to he who has wisdom. Open the door to the kingdom of light. Pour forth thy flame as a sun of the morning. Shut out the darkness and live in the day. Take thee, O man, as part of thy being, the seven who are but not as they seem. Opened, O man, have I my wisdom. Follow the path in the way that I have led. Masters of wisdom, son of the morning light and life to the children of men. So that's the end of tablet 3 there. Wow, just more interesting stuff from the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. Another one of these things, you know, when you start reading it, you're like, I can really start to see why they don't really want us to read this stuff, or certainly probably don't like the fact that some Yahoo like me is up here reading it over the airwaves. Tablet number 4, the Spaceborn. Listen ye, O man, to the voice of wisdom. Listen to the voice of Thoth, the Atlantean. Freely I give to thee my wisdom, gathered from the time and space of this cycle. Master of mystery, son of the morning, living forever a child of the light. Shining with brightness, star of the morning, Thoth, the teacher of men, is of all. Long time ago, I in my childhood lay neath the stars on long buried Atlantis, dreaming of mysteries for above men, far above men. Then in my heart grew there a great longing to conquer the pathway that led to the stars. Year after year I sought their wisdom, seeking new knowledge, following the way, until at last my soul in great travail broke from its bondage and bounded away. Free I was from the bondage of earthmen. Free from the body, I flashed through the night. Unlocked at last for me was the star space. Free was I from the bondage of night. Now to the end of space sought I wisdom, far beyond knowledge of finite man. Far into space my soul traveled freely, into infinity's circle of light. Strange beyond knowledge were some of the planets, great and gigantic beyond dreams of men. Yet found I law in all of its beauty, working through and among them as here among men. Flashed forth my soul through an infinity's beauty, far through space I flew with my thoughts. Rested I there on a planet of beauty, strains of harmony filled all the air. Shapes there were, moving in order, great and majestic as stars in the night. Mounting in harmony, ordered equilibrium, symbols of the cosmic like unto law. Many the stars I passed in my journey, many the races of men on their worlds, some reaching high as the stars of the morning, some falling low in the blackness of night. Each and all of them struggling upward, gaining the heights and plumbing the depths, moving at times in realms of brightness, living through darkness, gaining the light. Know, O man, that light is thy heritage. Know that darkness is only a veil. Sealed in time, heart is brightness eternal. Waiting the moment of freedom to conquer, waiting to rend the veil of night. Some I found who had conquered the ether, free of space were they while yet they were men. Using the force that is the foundation of all things, far in a space constructed they a planet. This sounds like Star Wars. I mean, the beginning of this was like in a galaxy a long time ago, you know, far, far away. Now she's talking about using the force. I mean, it's a fact. There's all kinds of stuff that's from occult literature in Star Wars. There's just no denying it. But, I mean, this is pretty blatant right here, guys. I mean, you know, A long time ago, galaxy far, far away, using the force that is the foundation of all things. Far in space, they constructed a planet, the Death Star, drawn by the force that flows through all, condensing, coalescing into ether, into forms they grew as they willed. I mean, that sounds like the fucking emperor, doesn't it? Outstripping in science, they all of the races, mighty in wisdom, sons of the stars. Long time I paused, watching their wisdom. Saw them create from out of the ether cities, gigantic of rose and gold, formed forth from the primal element, base of all matter, the ether, far flung. Far in the past, they had conquered the ether, freed themselves from the bondage of toil. Freed themselves from the bondage of toil. That means they freed themselves from, because that's what the Anunnaki, remember, just like our listener pointed out, a lot of similarities here with these translations of these tablets. Between the Lost Book of Enki, Sumerian tablets, this, very similar writing here. But the bondage of the toil is the bondage of, that's what they talked about. Humanity to toil in bondage for eternity on behalf for the Anunnaki. They formed in mind only a picture and swiftly created, it grew. For then my soul sped throughout the cosmos, seeing ever new things and old, learning that man is truly space-born, a son of the sun, a child of the stars. Know ye, O man, wherever from ye inhabit, surely it is one with the stars. Thy bodies are nothing but planets revolving around their central suns, or heart. When ye have gained the light of all wisdom, free shall ye be to shine in the ether. One of the suns that light outer darkness, one of the spaceborn grown into light. Just as the stars in time lose their brilliance, light passing from them into the great source, so, O man, the soul passes onward, leaving behind the darkness of night. Formed forth ye from the primal ether, filled with the brilliance that flows from the source, bound by the ether coalesced around, yet ever in flames until at last it is free. Lift up your flame from out of the darkness. Fly from the night, and ye shall be free. Traveled I through space and time, knowing my soul at last was set free, knowing that now I might pursue wisdom, until at last I passed to a plane, hidden from knowledge, not known to wisdom, extension beyond all that we know. Now, O man, when I had this knowing, happy my soul grew, for now I was free. Listen, ye spaceborn, listen to my wisdom. Know ye not ye too will be free. Know ye not that ye too will be free. Listen ye again, O man, to my wisdom, that hearing ye too might live and be free. Not of the earth are you, earthy, but child of the infinite cosmic light. I like that. Not of the earth are ye, earthy, earthy. No, you're not of the earth, human. You're a child of the infinite cosmic light. You've been lied to and told that you're a child of the earth and you're from the no. You're a child of the infinite cosmic light. Boy, talk about something they don't want you to know right there. Know ye not, O man, of your heritage? Know ye not that you are truly the light? Son of the great sun, when ye gain wisdom? Truly aware of your kinship with the light? Notice how that, you're the son of the great sun when you gain wisdom. Kept in ignorance, you're nothing. That's it in a nutshell, isn't it, folks? Son of the great sun, when ye gain wisdom, truly aware of your kinship with light. Now to ye I give knowledge, freedom to walk in the path I have trod, showing ye truly how by my striving I trod the path that leads to the stars. Hark ye, O man, and know of thy bondage. Know how to free thyself from the toils. Out of the darkness shall ye rise upward, one with the light and one with the stars. Follow ye ever the path of wisdom, Only by this can ye rise from below. Ever man's destiny leads him onward into the curves of infinity's all. Know ye, O man, that all space is ordered. Only by order are ye one with the all. Order and balance are the law of the cosmos. Follow, and ye shall be one with the all. He who would follow the pathway of wisdom, open must he be to the flower of life, extending his consciousness out of the darkness, flowing through time and space into the all. Deep in the silence first ye must linger, until at last ye are free from desire, free from the longing to speak in the silence, conquered by silence the bondage of words, abstaining from eating until we have conquered desire for food, that is the bondage of soul. Then lie ye down in the darkness, close your eyes from the rays of the light, center the soul force in the place of your consciousness, shaking it free from the bonds of the night. Place in your mind the image that you desire. Place the picture that you desire to see and vibrate back and forth with your power. Loosen the soul from out of its night. Fiercely must thou shake with all of thy power, until at last your soul shall be free. Mighty beyond words is the flame of the cosmic hanging in planes, unknown to man, mighty and balanced, moving in order, music of harmonies, far beyond man. Speaking with music, singing with color, flame from the beginning of eternity's all, spark of the flame thou art. O my children, burning with color and living with music, list to the voice, and thou shalt be free. Consciousness free is fused with the cosmic, one with the order and law of the all. Knew ye not, man, that out of the darkness light shall flame forth, a symbol of all? Pray ye this prayer for attaining of wisdom. Pray for the coming of light to the all. Mighty spirit of light that shines through the cosmos, draw my flame closer in harmony to thee. Lift up my fire from out of the darkness, magnet of fire that is one with the all. Lift up my soul, thou mighty and potent, child of the light, turn not away. Draw me in power to melt in thy furnace, one with all things and all things in one, fire of the life strain and one with the brain. When ye have freed thy soul from its bondage, know that for ye the darkness is gone, even though space ye may seek wisdom, bound not by the fetters forged in the flesh. Onward and upward into the morning, free flash, O soul, to the realms of light. Move thou in order, move thou in harmony. Freely shalt move with the children of light. Seek ye and know ye my key of wisdom, thus, O man, ye shall surely be free. Powerful stuff there. Powerful stuff there. Tablet number 4. Man, when I read this stuff, it's unbelievable. I mean, you can really see where somebody who had access to this information could totally turn this into all the major world religions and into a total system of control. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable stuff. Tablet 5, the dweller of Unal. The emerald tablets of Thoth. Oft I dreamed of buried Atlantis, lost in the ages that have passed into night. Aeon on aeon, thou existed in beauty, a light shining through the darkness of night. Mighty in power, ruling the earth born, Lord of the earth in Atlantis day. King of the nations, master of wisdom, light through Suntal, keeper on the way, dwelt in his temple, the master of Unal, light of the earth in Atlantis' day. Master he from a cycle beyond us, living in bodies as one among men. That sounds like Ra in the movie Stargate. Roland Emmerich film, Kurt Russell, James Spader, remember that? That sounds exactly like the Ra character in that. He was, they were in this fucking pyramid spaceship that was they were aliens. They were in this spaceship that was a pyramid, and he incarnated in this kid and took over his body and then started setting himself up as a god. It's very interesting. Lots of little symbology and little things that relate to the Anunnaki and stuff in that movie. If you haven't seen it or watched it in a while, definitely do yourself a favor. You can get it dirt cheap, dude. I saw it on Blu-ray the other day at I think Target, where it was like $5 for Blu-ray of that movie. That's fucking dirt cheap. But yeah, definitely watch that. Yeah, it's definitely one to watch. But that's what he's talking about here. He from a cycle beyond us, living in bodies as one among men. Just so he's just in. I mean, that's very interesting. He's just incarnating in bodies wherever he wants to, and then he's setting up shop and setting himself up as the Messiah and the Lord and all this other stuff. That's why we have some similarities between Quetzalcoatl and Viracocha and Enki and Onaz and all these different deities around the world. That's what it's, this energy incarnating in different bodies for a short period of time, but being immortal and being able to choose, being conscious of the choice of where and how you're incarnating. That's another one of the main secrets of the secret societies, the Freemasons, Rosicrucians, etc. That's why the rose on the Rose Cross of the Rosicrucians, the rose is the soul, and the cross is the body. And that's what it represents, is the soul being crucified upon the body. That's what the Rosy Cross is. And that's what the Freemasons teach. It's immortality through being able to be consciously aware of when, where, how you incarnate, and very conscious of who you are, meaning that, once you develop your and you find that in a lot of people. Once you develop and you come out of your childhood development, you're, that ego and that personality is already formed as if it was formed before birth. Not as earthborn, he from beyond us, son of a cycle, advance beyond men. Know ye, O man, that Horlet, the master, was never one with the children of men. Far in the past time when Atlantis first grew as a power, appeared there one with the key of wisdom, showing the way of light to all. Showed he to all men the path of attainment, way of the light that flows among men. Mastering darkness, leading the man's soul upward to the heights that were one with the light. Divided the kingdoms he into sections. Well, that's what it talked about in the Lost Book of Enki, wasn't it? They divided in sections and gave different ones the Anunnaki dominion over those domains of the earth. 10 were they, ruled by the children of men. Again, same things we saw in the Sumerian tablets. It's mind-blowing. Upon another built he a temple, built but not by the children of men. Out of the ether called he its substance, molded and formed by the power of Yotlan into the forms he built with his mind. So he's talking about manifesting, built this temple that he manifested out of the ether and built and constructed with his mind. That would shut up a lot of these. They wouldn't even have an Ancient Aliens series if they knew that, would they? I mean, every goddamn episode of Ancient Aliens, I watch that show for the comedy factor mostly, but just to see what they're talking about. But on and on and on they go on that fucking show about, David Hatcher Childers. What in the hell built these temples? And they go on and on and on. And here, right here, and they, they talk about this stuff, and I'm glad that they're talking about it, and it's on TV and blah, 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 blah. But again, it's just like everything else that's disinfo or misinfo. It's not what they talk about, it's what they don't talk about. And these guys never seem to bring into the conversation the idea of the power of the spoken word. This goes all the way back to the oldest forms of Kabbalism. Manly P. Hall discusses this in The Secret Teachings of All Ages, the Kabbalistic creation of mankind, the Kabbalistic origins of humanity, the Kabbalistic origins of the universe, and how these words and you have frequencies when you use them, and when you learn these different chants and these incantations and these different spells, essentially, you can learn how to shape and form the ether and make material matter manifest before your very eyes and create things like temples and other things like that. And yet Ancient Aliens goes on and on and on every week. How did they build these temples? It had to be aliens. Well, great, it had to be aliens, but how were they doing it? Never any talk about frequency. That's what I believe all this stuff. How they built the pyramids, all these temples, it's all frequency. They didn't use all these, Jew slaves and all this shit to build the pyramids. Give me a fucking break. They use ancient magic and ancient spells that manipulate frequencies, manipulate the ether and the material matter. And a high-level magi, most likely a priest who's been trained by one of the gods themselves, and then that trickles down and passed down, and then that's how we had secret societies form. But that's no doubt the explanation for what science and even conspiracy theorists, haven't seemed to be able to wrap their minds around yet. That's, that to me is the justification of why we're reading this stuff, why I will continue to read this stuff. It's unbelievable. Let me read it one more time. Out of the ether called he its substance. He built a temple not by the children of men. He molded and formed the power of Ytolon. I don't even know what that means. I got to look that up. Ytolan. What is that? Let's find out. Well, that's interesting. The power of Ytolon, so it's pronounced Ytolon, was revealed to me during a spiritual hypnotherapy regression during which I experienced life in Atlantis. Ytolon refers to a sacred energy that allows thoughts to materialize. The fifth emerald tablet. This creative power materializes thoughts for beautiful, elegant living and supplies without depleting the environment. This is the way Atlantis was built. Oh, okay. In 2005, I started feeling dizzy for short spells. I'm reading this off just some website, you guys. The frequency of these lightheaded periods increased so much that I went to see a medical doctor, fearing that I would faint while driving. To my astonishment, I left the doctor's consultation room in a wheelchair, emergency assessment by a cardiologist, and rushed to the hospital where a stent was placed into my heart. Not anticipating a heart problem or emergency heart surgery, and almost leaving the physical plane came as a major shock. I really don't care about your story. This blah, 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 blah. You're not giving me anything about. So I guess Ytolon is basically, okay, that's what it is. So it's the creative power that materializes thoughts into beautiful, elegant living supplies without depleting the environment. Okay, that's good enough for me. That's all I need to know. I didn't need to know your whole fucking life story. Thanks. God, fucking internets, man. Jesus. Just give me the fucking info. I don't want to hear your whole fucking, goddamn story, tripping on acid and waking up to fucking find the Nibiru's cock in your ass. I don't, fuck, I don't need to know all that. Thanks. So he molded and formed by the power of Ytolon. Okay, so that's what he's talking about here. Basically, this is exactly right. He's talking about bringing things manifest using the spoken word. In the beginning, there was the word. Hello? Christians, you ever fucking maybe give a thought to what that really meant? No, because you you ever give a thought to what that means? That leads to the devil. That leads to the devil.
Shark shakes its cock. It leads to the devil's cock. That's what it leads to, motherfucker.
Jesus. Out of control. Let's try to continue here. Fucking Satan and rednecks just keep interrupting all the time. Where did we leave off here? Know ye, O man, the harlot, the master, was never one with the children of men. Out of the ether he called the substance and molded it by the power of Etolon into the forms he built with his mind. Mile upon mile it covered the island. Space upon space it grew in its might. Black, yet not black, but dark like the space of time. Deep in its heart the essence of light. Swiftly the temple grew into being, molded and shaped by the world of the dweller. Called from the formless into a form. Builded he then within it great chambers, filled them with forms called forth from the ether. This sounds like, it's funny that he's making this sound like this is, I mean, okay, I read some, a news report from the Rockwall Success newspaper where two of these guys had went down into one of the subterranean chambers, I think underneath where the Rockwall, the old Rockwall courthouse is in downtown Rockwall. And there was this report where they found these two black marble pillars inside of this chamber that shone and shined like something from the Orient, like black granite sparkling. And it's funny they reference that here: black yet not black, but yet black by the dark of space time. You know, I mean, it seems interesting in these different rooms that he built. Well, that's what the rock wall has found to have been. They found within the perimeter of the wall itself, they found room after room of different chambers and temple rooms and all of this stuff. It's all been covered up. And one of the pictures I saw of Quetzalcoatl, supposedly what Aslan was when Quetzalcoatl created, which was Aslan means Atlantis, was that same exact type of structure. And of course, Quetzalcoatl and Thoth are supposed to be the same person, as well as Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice-born Thoth, Hermes Trismegistus, and Quetzalcoatl. Now, again, Quetzalcoatl was master of two things: crystal working and metallurgy, alchemy. Well, two things have been found that relate to that with the rock wall. Number one, crystals, geopolymer crystals, 3 different types of crystals that don't exist around this area, brought together and made into a polymer that seals and holds the rocks of the wall together. Number two, an alloy wheel, a small alloy wheel that was made of copper, aluminum, tin, 4 or 5 different metals. I held it in my hand, was embedded into the wall. And I just, with that report, I remember reading that report of them seeing these black pillars. It just kind of, caught my attention there for a minute. I'll continue. But this is talking about, building this, and I don't know why. Flashes as he's talking about building this temple using, etherical energy in the ether to create. I don't know why. Just flashes of Rockwall started coming in my head, like this is connecting, this is connected to this. I always try to follow those, those little flashes when they come to you, because, I mean, believe me, man, I used to ignore them, but now 99% of the time they're right. Swiftly the temple grew into being, molded and shaped by the word of the dweller. Called from the formless into a form, builded he then within it great chambers. Filled them with forms called forth from the ether, filled them with wisdom called forth from his mind. Formless was he within its temple, yet he was formed in the image of men. Dwelling among them, yet not of them, strange and far different was he of the children of men. Chose he then from among the people 3 who became his gateway. So he chose 3 people to incarnate into. Choose he the 3 from the highest to become his links with Atlantis. Messengers, they who carried his counsel to the kings of the children of men. Brought he forth others and taught them wisdom. Teachers they to the children of men. Placed he them on the island of Undal to stand as teachers of light to men. Each of those who were thus chosen taught must he be for years 5 and 10. Only thus could he have understanding to bring light to the children of men. Thus there came into being the temple, a dwelling place for the master of men. I, Toth, have ever sought wisdom, searching in darkness and searching in light. Long in my youth, I traveled the pathway, seeking ever new knowledge to gain. Until after much striving, one of the three to me brought the light. Brought he to me the commands of the dweller, called me from the darkness into the light. Brought he me before the dweller, deep in the temple before the great fire. There on the great throne beheld I the dweller, clothed with light and flashing with fire. Down I knelt before that great wisdom, feeling the light flowing through me in waves. Sounds like he met the light bringer, doesn't it? What else could it be? Heard I then the voice of the dweller, O darkness, come into the light. Long have ye sought the pathway to light. Each soul on earth that loosens its fetters shall soon be made free from the bondage of night. Forth from the darkness have ye risen. Closer approach the light of your goal. Here ye shall dwell as one of my children, keeper of records gathered by wisdom, instrument through of the light from beyond. Ready by thou made to do what is needed. Preserver of wisdom through the ages of darkness that shall come fast on the children of men. Live thee here and drink of all wisdom. Secrets and mysteries unto thee shall unveil. Then answered I, the master of cycles, saying, O light that descended to men, give thou to me of thy wisdom, that I might be a teacher of men. Give thou of thy light, that I may be free. Spoke again then to me the master. Age after age shall ye live through your wisdom. I win o'er Atlantis, the ocean's wave roll, holding the light through hidden in darkness, ready to come whenever thou shalt call. I love how it talks about the Atlantis as being something that was not just exist one time. The way they talk about that and the reference that they reference that as there being multiple Atlantises. One of our listeners a couple weeks ago was referencing, that movie 2012 as being about the fall of Atlantis, a symbolic allegory for the fall of Atlantis. And I tend to sort of agree with that. And that very well could be what they're talking about here because, John Dee. John Dee, his whole Enochian magic system, Enochian language system, was based on these tablets. That's a fact. So, it does stand very well to reason. I mean, John Dee was telling, Sir Francis Bacon about America being the new Atlantis, all that whole deal. But right there, they reference, because this is supposed to be, this stuff that we're reading here is supposed to be after the fall of Atlantis anyway. So he's referencing Atlantis as being this thing where, it's something that periodically is built and then falls and then rebuilt again. And, it starts all over again. When over Atlantis, the Atlantis, the ocean waves roll, holding the light, though hidden in darkness, ready to come whenever thou shalt call. Go thee now and learn greater wisdom. Go thou through light to infinity's all. Long then dwelt I in the temple of the dweller, until at last I was one with the light. Followed I then the path to the star plains. Followed I then the pathway to light. Deep into earth's heart I followed the pathway, learning the secrets below as above, learning the pathway to the halls of Amenti, learning the law that balances the world. To earth's hidden chambers pierced I by my wisdom, deep through the earth's crust into the pathway hidden for ages from the children of men. Unveiled before me ever more wisdom until I reached a new knowledge, found that all is part of an all, great and yet greater than all that we know. We had that in the news tonight, didn't we? Searched I infinity's heart through all the ages. Deeper and yet deeper, more mysteries I found. Now, as I look back through the ages, know I that wisdom is boundless, ever grown greater throughout the ages, one with infinities greater than all. Light there was in ancient Atlantis, yet darkness too was hidden in all. Fell from the light into the darkness some who had risen to heights among men. Proud they became because of their knowledge. Proud were they of their place among men. Deep delved they into the forbidden and opened the gateway that led to below. Sought they to gain ever more knowledge, but seeking to bring it up from below. He who descends below must have balance, else he is bound by lack of our light. Opened they then by their knowledge pathways forbidden to man. Built in his temple, all-seeing the dweller lay in his aguante, while through Atlantis his soul roamed free. Saw he the Atlanteans by their magic, opening the gateway that would bring to earth a great woe. There we are talking about opening this gateway, opening up a portal. Fast fled his soul then back to his body. Up he arose from his aguante. Called he the three mighty messengers. Gave the commands that shattered the world. Deep neath earth's crust to the halls of Amenti, swiftly descended the dweller. Called he then on the powers of the seven lords, wielded, and changed the earth's balance. Sounds like a pole shift. Down sank Atlantis beneath the dark waves, shattered the gateway that had been opened, shattered the doorway that led down below. All of the islands were shattered except Unal, and part of the island of the sons of the dweller. Preserved he them to be the teachers, lights on the path for those to come after, lights for the lesser children of men. Called he then I Toth before him, gave me commands for all I should do, saying, take thou, O Toth, all of your wisdom. Take all of your records, take all of your magic. Go thou forth as a teacher of men. Go thou forth reserving the records until in time light grows among men. Light shall thou be all through the ages, hidden yet found by enlightened men. Over all earth give we ye power. Free thou to give it or to take it away. Gather thou now the sons of Atlantis. Take them and flee to the people of the rock caves. Fly to the land of the children of Chem. Then gathered I the sons of Atlantis. Into the spaceship I brought all my records. I brought the records of sunken Atlantis. Gathered I all of my powers and instruments, many of mighty magic. Up then we rose on wings of the morning. High we arose above the temple, leaving behind the three and dweller deep in the halls neath the temple, closing the pathway to the lords of the cycles. Yet ever to him who has knowing open shall be the path to Amenti. Fast fled we then on the wings of the morning, fled to the land of the children of Chem. There by my power I conquered and ruled them. Raised I to light the children of Chem. Deep neath their rocks I buried my spaceship, waiting the time when man might be free. Over the spaceship erected a marker in the form of a lion, yet unto a man. There, neath the image, rests yet my spaceship. forth to be brought when the need shall arise. So his spaceship is underneath the Sphinx. Well, that's great. I'm glad we know that now. Know ye, O man, that far in the future invaders shall come from out of the deep. Oh, really? Far in the future invaders shall come from out of the deep. Then awake, ye who have wisdom. Bring forth my ship and conquer with ease. Deep neath the image lies my secret. Search and find in the pyramid I built. We will do that, sir. Each to the other is the keystone, each the gateway that leads into life. Follow the key I leave behind me. Seek, and the doorway to life shall be thine. Seek thou in my pyramid, deep in the passage that ends in a wall. Seek thou in my pyramid, deep in a passage that ends in a wall. That's that video I was telling you about. Seek it, and the doorway of life shall be thine. That was that video I told you guys about last week. Let me find that again. Yeah, Great Pyramid, a strange sacred door at the top half in the Queen's chamber. That's and I saw that referenced last week in some of the tablets that we were reading from. But and I'm going to drop it in the chat room again for you there. It's that green video. You have to watch it if you can't see. That's exactly what he's talking about there. Let me read that for you again. Know ye, O man, that far in the future invaders shall come from out of the deep. Then awake ye who have wisdom. Bring forth my ship and conquer with ease. Deep neath the image lies my secret. Search and find in the pyramid I built. Each to the other is the keystone, each the gateway that leads into life. Follow the key I leave behind me. Seek, and the doorway to life shall be thine. Seek thou in my pyramid, deep in the passage that ends in a wall. That in that video, you will see that that's the passageway that ends in a wall. They sent a robot in there with a camera. And you can see it. It's a star chart. That's what he's talking about here. It's there. And we're just ignoring it. I want to figure this out. I want to make all this happen. How do we do that? Anybody got any ideas? Use thou the key of the seven, and open to thee the pathway will fall. Now unto thee I have given my wisdom. Now unto thee I have given my way. Follow the pathway. Solve thou my secrets. Unto thee I have shown the way. So that's the end of tablet number 5. We'll pick up next time on the broadcast with tablet number 6, the key of magic. The key of magic. That should make for pretty interesting stuff. Wow. This one was amazing in and of itself, calling up material things into being by using frequencies and spaceships under the Sphinx and that hidden chamber. Wow. I mean, this stuff just staring us in the face, folks. And yet, many of our brothers and sisters out there are too distracted by, this fucking corporatized hot topic mall version of revolution. And meanwhile, the keys to the info that we seek are just sitting here right in front of us, and we just ignore them and worry about the bankers and worry about, whether or not we're going to be able to stay fat Americans and buy that new iPad next year. That's what this whole thing's about. These people don't give two shits about information or the real world or the power structure. They just want their people in it. I don't know, man. I see the whole Fabian socialist, Marxist, communist takeover that they tried to tell us was a control system being the main tenet that's been brought in by this priest class. And, you know, we've gotten it in the biggest way it's ever been brought to America, but you can't say that or you're racist. You need to wake up.
It's dinner time with Panera, and it is